Well, I think it's worthy of investigating really from a public interest point of view, but most especially as a member of the Legislative Council, this petition is really asking us to look at how the law relating to adverse possession is operating, and actually what the difference is between the law related to that here and the UK.
So what does that mean, adverse possession?
So adverse possession is a claim to possession of land to which another person, the paper owner, has title.
So what's kind of the next step, really? What are you looking to see?
So I think that if the motion for a committee is successful, then it would allow us to have an organised way to look at the petition, which is asking us to look at adverse possession in the Isle of Man, look at the wider implications of how this is working. It is relating to property, it is relating to land. The petition is quite narrow in that it is looking at it is asking us to look at the legislative side of it and Manx property law in relation to adverse possession. However, it would also require a committee to examine really the equity of arms in terms of how the cases like this, in the courts, and how that is dealt with insofar as is there an equity of process as to how these things are being handled.
Is there a perception we're behind other jurisdictions on that front? Do you think you mentioned a comparison with the UK?
Well, certainly, and it would be to benefit for the committee to investigate exactly what the situation is, but certainly from some initial research, it's quite clear to me that in recent years there have been developments in the UK, particularly through different aspects of case law. So I think it is really worthwhile and in the public interest to look at this matter to do with adverse possession.
Is it a committee you would like to be a part of?
I'd be very happy to be a part of it, absolutely.
And more generally, I mentioned at the beginning that not all petitions for redress we see presented at Tynwald Day do get taken up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's a trend you'd like to see more of?
I think we are seeing more of it, actually. Certainly this year, though, I think there was about 26 petitions for redress that were presented to the July sitting of Tynwald, certainly much more than last year. There was a time when so few petitions were investigated that periodically, I think probably in the mid-2000s, there was a call to review how this process is actually operating. But I think with this, it is actually the process in action, and Tynwald members are picking up petitions. There was one petition that was picked up in the last sitting of Tynwald, and a successful motion for a committee. Mm-hmm. And on the order paper for November, mine is I think one of three motions.
Because we often hear Tynwald members say what an important function it is about Tynwald Day, and what an important kind of democratic process it is whereby people have the right to petition. So there's maybe a bit of hypocrisy perhaps if they aren't taken up in a way. Do you think?
It's an assessment that individual Tynwald members have to make as to what the potential outcomes or the benefit of exploring, because anybody can take that petition to Tynwald Day, and it is really an ancient tradition, and it's something that was brought up again to enliven it, if you like, revived in 1957. It is absolutely right that Tynwald members should look and hear what the public are saying and demanding, needs to at least be examined. And I think it's really good, actually, that is happening, certainly with the current setup of Tynwald members.